All right, so today we're going to be talking about selective pruning for a weeping cherry tree. So there's two types of trees mainly that we're going to see that look pretty similar to this. You're going to have weeping cherry, and then we're going to have a Japanese maple also. The way you can tell this is a weeping cherry very easily, it has like an umbrella look. And then if you look way back into there, back there, the tree has been grafted. So that's where that big notch is in the back, if you can see that. So actually the bottom half of this tree is not a cherry tree. The top half of this is a cherry tree. So that's why it will never get taller than this, and it will always have this weeping look. So the way that we trim this, and you can tell this very easily, is we have these live buds right here. If you want to get a close-up on what these buds look like. So if you see this bud, it's got a reddish color. That means this is a live, a really good bud, okay? And then you have stems back here, and these buds look gray. This is a dead limb back here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go through this tree and trim out everything that has a dead limb in it. Leave everything with a live bud first. Okay, so we're going to cut all that out. And then once we're done with that, we're going to cut anything that is overlapping and touching itself. So for instance, right here, these two are hitting each other. And so what the problem is, when it starts being windy, these are going to rub against each other just like this, and then it's going to rub the bark off of this stem, and that's going to make it so this tree can get infected and it can get a disease, and then it'll make this tree fail. So every year we need to do maintenance pruning on this, and every couple years we need to do a big trim back on this. So I'll start pruning this in a minute, but don't be worried about trimming too much of this tree. Even if you accidentally cut the wrong branch, you cut live buds off, it's going to grow back. You're not going to kill this tree. So trim it, make it look nice and full, but eliminate about 30% of the actual stems and growth on the tree. So you're trying to make it open up a little bit, make it up, more airy. That's the goal of maintenance pruning. But this one we're going to do a lot more pruning on because it hasn't been trimmed in years. The other thing is we want to keep it off of the ground. Okay, so we don't want these touching the ground because then it'll always stay moist, it'll stay wet, and it can be susceptible to disease that way. So let's take a look at this. All right, so this is a good branch. We're going to leave that. We're going to find these dead branches that are typically underneath, and we're going to go all the way back, and we're going to cut as far back as possible on these. So the easiest way is let's just start cutting some of this out, so then we have more room to work with. Now all these branches are dead, so eventually we're going to have to take loppers and cut them way back to the branch. But let's just start cutting some of this out so we have more room to work with. Okay, just throw all this stuff on the ground, and then we can clean this up later. All right. Hey, can you hand me those loppers, Chase? All right, so once you start cutting out some of the smaller of the canopy, some of the small twigs, let's actually go after like this big branch. So this big branch, it's completely dead. There is no live buds on it. So we're gonna go all the way back, and we're gonna actually cut this thing out, okay? So anything that is totally dead, we're gonna cut these branches completely out. And once all the dead is cut out of this thing, then we can start doing the main pruning. All right, so we have completed the selective pruning of this weeping cherry. As you can see, it's not drooping all the way down to the ground anymore. We have opened it up a lot, so we took about, actually, this one was kind of severe. We took probably 50% of the canopy away. And so what that's gonna do is when this takes up nutrients and water in the spring, it's gonna send all that nutrients to these active buds instead of sending nutrients to dead wood. So this is going to grow much better, it's gonna be much healthier, and the blooms in the spring are gonna be that much better because we did a full restoration pruning on this guy today. So we cut out all the crossing branches, we cut out some of the big ones that were completely dead, and we opened up the canopy. So this is what a weeping cherry tree should look like after it has been successfully pruned. And you can compare this to what you saw in the very beginning of this video.